focus on the oceans and marine agenda. I think it is probably the biggest mistake I made. And it was in part initially informed by the fact that I looked at our community and I saw WWF, IUCN, and the whole family of institutions that were working at the species and ecology side of marine issues as having a great strength and advantage. And why should UNEP now, with 4 or 5 people, emulate that rather than ask themselves where is the value added? And that was one reason why in UNEP we took a deliberate decision to focus our work at the ecosystems perspective. Because there, I think, both for governments and for our community, there was a point of synthesis and integration that made sense. Terrestrially, I think that proved to be the right strategy. On the oceans front, I think we are in a terrible conundrum right now. The very instrument that we helped to bring about, the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, and here I have to say in brackets, I speak in my own right now, my last paycheck is hopefully paid, so maybe I should just switch them. We have suddenly found ourselves in a situation where the very instrument that we helped to bring about to deal with oceans and let's say areas beyond national jurisdiction actually becoming a real liability. It has been, forgive me for using that term, don't quote me, it has been hijacked. Hijacked by national interests, not even in a public debate, but by those who sit in certain strategic offices in government who look at the ocean as the next frontier for national interest in terms of mineral exploitation and many other economic interests. And through a locked down process of a very small number of people who literally have created an exclusive space through the New York deliberations around, well, oceans governance, have de facto paralyzed half of the agenda that UNCLOS was meant to deliver. Ironically, this morning I got an invitation, just trying to see if I find it here, which I actually sent to some of my colleagues and saying, only in the UN could we send out an invitation where the title of the email says something like, I'm not sure if I will find it now. Here we are. The invitation is as follows: invitation to the informal open meeting of the ad hoc working group of the whole of the regular process. I looked at this and I said, if you read that out in a cabaret, nobody would believe me this is real. But this is actually the invitation of Dwalers to the next meeting under UNCLOS. It doesn't even mention oceans, right? And that is where we have ended up. And I think we have a dramatic need, and I want to credit the Secretary General who tried desperately before the Rio +20 summit to put a crowbar into this and reopen that discussion to where the United Nations is desperately needed, because there is no other way that you're going to deal with our oceans and marine challenges except through a multilateral approach. You can have complementary initiatives at the regional level, regional seas conventions, regional fisheries management organizations, but I think if there is one thing that I would urge all of you is challenge what has become a tragedy of silence, actually, in terms of the oceans and marine agenda. And it's not for lack of trying. There's been oceans commissions, as you know, and ocean agenda setting. This is an issue that needs to be challenged head on, because what is happening out there in the oceans is literally beyond not just areas of national jurisdiction, it's beyond, I think, an era of responsibility. And we certainly in UNEP could not break that open, and I think it takes a much more strategic, a much more politically informed approach.